United USA 2020 and beyond.
$50 billion, in fact, was pledged to advancing racial equity in this country. That's billion with a B. Some of it was supposed to be donated to civil rights organizations, invested in communities of color, or put toward reimagining hiring practices at major corporations. And now, a year later, how much do you think was actually spent? Take a minute and guess. 80%? How about 50? 25? What if I told you that only half of 1%, $250 million, was actually spent by these companies in support of Black life? I bet you think their holier-than-thou pledges of generosity was a bunch of bull, that they were hollow virtue signals, and that Black communities and organizations were never going to get the support they were promised. Well, you'd be exactly right. The one group that did manage to get a whole boatload of cash was Black Lives Matter. They pulled in more than $90 million last year, but only managed to spend a quarter of it on charitable causes. The group's been so shady with the money that Tamir's wife's mom begged the group to stop profiting off her son's death. That probably explains why, according to the New York Times, look at this, public support of Black Lives Matter has cratered since June 20. What a difference a year makes. Joining me now to discuss is Maj Toure, founder of Black Guns Matter. Maj, you always tell it like it is. So why is the support dropping?
The support is dropping because the people are following the money. A bunch of the money, Darren Seals told us before he was murdered, Black Lives Matter Incorporated is a sham organization designed specifically to fleece the Black community, has nothing to do with improving the conditions of Black America, and they the ops, period.
So Maj, so you got the organization, then you got the people that are on the street that have sincere calls for justice, but then you have the organization that got all the dough, making all these promises because they were pressured to do so. But when it came down to the nitty gritty, the community didn't see a lot of that dough. So the question is, will there be boycotts for these corporations, or will there be pressure to pay up? Because I want to see the dough.
Yeah, I don't want the boycott. The Black community want the money. Y'all said that money was supposed to be for our community. You said it. You plastered the Black Lives Matter. Let me go back a second. Yes, we know that Black Lives Matter as a reality, obviously, right? And some people in America wanted to pretend like that wasn't the case. So I want to make that clear distinction between the people doing legitimate work, community work, and the incorporation that funneled. This was a money laundering scheme. If I, as Black Guns Matter, we raised and gave away over the last 4 years, we do work in firearm safety and suicide prevention and conflict resolution in Black communities for the last 4 years. We've raised $410,000, give or take, and I've been very transparent with the money. Can you imagine if I'm at conservative tables? Can you imagine how they would have crucified me if I only spent a quarter of that $400,000, a quarter, 25% of it on this stated purpose? No, it was a money laundering scheme, and a whole bunch of that money, don't want to get anybody in trouble, but yes, I do. A whole bunch of that money was funneled to the Democratic Party and Joe Biden and his team's whole scenario. That's where the money at. Follow the paper. That's why the plummet has happened amongst the Black community. You see it.
Good to hear some Black conservatives speaking up about the Ponzi scheme that is BLM. Like and share.